Recently, Project Veritas released a video in which I believe he's the chair of the Proud Boys. Let me make sure I get his name right. Tarrio and Enrique Tarrio. Enrique Tarrio. Just want to make sure I had his name right. Sorry, Enrique. He had his Chase account shut down, as did many other conservatives. And Project Veritas released this video where you can see a bunch of different bank managers are really confused as to why his account has been shut down. So we apparently don't know. In response to this, Michelle Malkin has written up something for the Daily Wire. Questions for Chase Away Bank. She says, I've been a Chase Bank customer for years. Who knows how much longer it'll be? Will the company's thought police come for me next? How about you? If you are a non-leftist who does business with a financial giant owned by JP Morgan Chase and Co., you need to ask questions and get answers. On Tuesday, investigative journalist James O'Keefe and his Project Veritas team released a disturbing new video on the runaround that Chase officials gave Texas conservative entrepreneur Enrique Tarrio about his canceled account. Big business may very well be enabling America's very own version of the Chinese social credit system in which the political dissent is flagged, shunned, punished, and eradicated. I will come to the further comments here, but I'll make a point. First, why do people believe that Chase is targeting conservatives? Well, you had Enrique Tarrio. I believe Laura Loomer's account was frozen. I think it may have been reinstated. But you also have Martina Marcota, whose business account was terminated, and we don't know why. First, one thing that needs to be made clear. Simply because we have a handful of people that are aligned in a certain direction doesn't mean the politics, that politics is the reason for the suspension. Because quite honestly, I'm sure you could go and find, 50 closed accounts and then pin them together through one, something they have in common. It doesn't mean the common factor is the cause of the shutdowns. That being said, making sure that's clear, I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories. Let's read why Michelle Malkin and many people view this as a potential political takedown. Malkin writes, Tarrio is a young, peaceful Afro-Cuban freethinker and chairman of the Proud Boys. In February 2019, the Texas Trump supporter received a letter from Chase Bank informing him that after careful consideration, the financial institution could no longer support his banking account. The notice followed a hit piece against minorities who support the president by the Daily Beast, a reliable echo chamber for the discredited Southern Poverty Law Center smear machine. Excuse me. Tarrio was subsequently kicked off Chase's payment processor, which he used to sell patriotic and pro-Trump t-shirts. Next, he was deplatformed from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, First Data, Square, Stripe, and PayPal before losing his bank accounts. When I asked Twitter in February why we can't have just one financial institution that doesn't have to cave to social justice warriors, the official Chase Twitter account tweeted back, Hi, Michelle. This article is inaccurate. We did not close his personal account. We do not close personal accounts based on political affiliation. I pointed out that Chase's letter clearly stated that the company has closed his account. So if not for political reasons, I asked, why, after careful consideration, did you close his account? The social media manager for Chase's corporate Twitter account, previously so eager to spill the tea, replied, for privacy reasons, we can't say anymore. One thing that's really funny is that when these takedowns occur, they will tell you what they need to do to protect themselves, and then when it comes to the actual specifics, they'll say, privacy issues. Notably, when Sargon of Akkad got banned from Patreon, I reached out to Patreon, and they spilled the beans and said, look at this, watch this video, this is proof. And then when I started to dig a little deeper and ask about their double standards, they said, we're not going to comment on a private individual's, okay. I actually said this to the women at Patreon. What do you mean you're not going to comment on someone's private page? You've literally you were on the phone with me this whole time telling me all their personal details, what they said somewhere else and why you banned them. And now when it comes to the specifics, you shut up. So let's make a few important points. In the Veritas video, Enrique doesn't get an answer. In fact, there's actually, I think Gavin McInnes is there as well, and he talks about how there was some kind of like confusion and shock among them that the suspension even happened. Because you'd assume if your account is closed, they would tell you why. While Chase wants to say, for privacy reasons, we can't say more, privacy reasons I'm sure Enrique doesn't care about because he's been trying to find an answer as well, and they wouldn't give him one. There was, in the video from Veritas, you can see all these different managers saying, whoa, we just don't know. So when you combine this with many other takedowns, it does seem like it is politically motivated. More importantly, is that it comes following the takedown of many other accounts, and it comes following a smear where news organizations relayed hearsay that the Proud Boys were an extremist organization. Listen, I'm not here to defend the actions of the Proud Boys or Gavin McInnes. I think Gavin McInnes, while he claims much of what he was saying was a joke or all of it, he said some pretty egregious things that go beyond what you should be talking about. Notably, he went on the Joe Rogan podcast and jokingly said he started a gang, but it's like, listen, man, when you have a large group of people and they punch each other to initiate them and you think it's funny and then they're getting in street battles, you are setting yourself up to be taken down by the press. So whatever your opinion is on them, the point is, the goal of this video is not to make the Proud Boys look good or bad. It's to point out, first of all, fake news was spread and then the corrections had to come out. The FBI says the Proud Boys are not an extremist group after all. The only reason anyone thought they did is because they're so eager to pump out the hit pieces. One of the most frustrating and annoying things to me is, look, I can sit here and say this all day. Antifa, getting into street battles are bad. Proud Boys, not as bad as Antifa because Antifa starts it, but Proud Boys showing up where they know there's going to be a fight doesn't make things better. So there's fault to go around for everybody. It's not necessarily left, right, and thing, and not necessarily just on the Proud Boys. There's criticism to go around, but the point is, the people in media on the left are pointing their activist, weapons only in one direction because, well, they're activists. They're tribal activists, and give them an opportunity, and they will. So when a sheriff said that, he viewed them this way, they said, oh, the FBI claimed it. Never. It was fake news. Following the fake news, we see a wave of takedowns. We saw all of the Proud Boys banned from Twitter. And it was very funny when I was on the Joe Rogan podcast and Vijaya Gadde said, well, they were labeled in extremist groups. No. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Fake news from far left activists. And you ban all of these people. And then we see Chase take his account down. So you want to ask me what I think happened? I think after the smear machine comes out, the dirty, dirty smear merchants claiming that the Proud Boys were extremists without evidence, Chase probably said, I have no idea who this guy is. Shut him down. Because think about it. You got to think from their point of view. Let's say someone shows you a photograph of a dude wearing sunglasses and they got a baseball bat and they're wearing a hoodie. And, excuse me. And it says, violent anti-fascist commits crime. You'll probably see that and be like, that person fits the bill. They look like they're doing that. But for all you know, it could be a photo of a dude putting up his hood and sunglasses because it just started raining or something. Like, the point I'm trying to make is, when people look at someone like Count Dankula, for instance, they see this tattooed up guy who's got a shit-eating grin, and then they put a big old Nazi above him, and everyone just assumes it without doing any fact checking, because the average person isn't a journalist. And this is what happens. I'm sure it was some Chase employee like, whoa, man, the FBI said it, we better get rid of him. Why? Because Chase can probably get in trouble if they're funding extremist groups, more ways than one, from law enforcement and from the press. So here we have it. In my opinion, it was fake news. But let's read on. They say, for privacy reasons, thanks to Project Veritas, we know more. Undercover audio and video exposed. One Chase employee blamed clerical issues on Tario's account cancellation. Another stated, I see nothing that indicates any reason why the account should be closed. I don't see any outstanding transactions or anything ridiculous. Another, Chase is not involved with any alt-right people or anything. Those with no moral character are people that the bank usually doesn't get involved with in any business relationships, period. And that was from a phone call where they basically called in saying they didn't want to do business with Trump supporters, and the guy played up to him. It may just be that Chase employee was trying to get a sale, but that would imply that Chase was lying. If Chase is telling the truth, then yes, they may go after any conservatives who, don't play ball with the mainstream. Several repeated a company line in Tario's mysterious file. Decision is not reversible. That's freaky. Others who received Chase shutdown notice so far in 2019, conservative rebel media contributor Martina Markota, anti-Sharia and pro-borders investigative journalist Laura Loomer, and U.S. Army combat vet and vocal Trump supporter Joe Biggs. That's right, Joe Biggs. Where Markota's, Loomer's, and Biggs Markota's, Loomer's, and Biggs removals clerical errors or unfounded, or were they based on ideological litmus tests disguised as a moral character assessment? More questions arise. How exactly is JP Morgan's Chase $500,000 donation last year to the SPLC left-wing operatives being put to use? Why did the company embrace a known defamation racket whose stated mission is to destroy its political enemies on the right and was recently confirmed to be headed by overt racists who had to be fired, and it's got a history of racism, and that's fact. It's reported by the New York Times now, New Yorker, Washington Post. What comment does Chase have now that SPLC's top leaders have been purged amid internal accusations of intolerance and discrimination within the walls of the notorious Poverty Palace? Let me do this too. I don't know very much about Martina or Biggs or Loomer. I get that they're considered controversial right-wing figures. I get that activists don't like them. But are we entering this point now where you're going to be like someone who like Biggs, for instance, I believe he's still on Twitter. Martina's active on Twitter. Whether you like them or not, they are not criminals breaking the law. You may think their opinions are bad. Why are their bank accounts being shut down? And I had to talk to this with my bank recently. I explained to them the concern about doing business with a company that takes moral stances without fact checking or PR stances in regardless of what the facts are. Think about it. You start a business, you make money, you're gone. They could just destroy you outright. A bank could do that. I'm going to say this. Because Chase has not publicly clarified this, there is absolutely no way in hell I will ever do any work in any capacity with Chase Bank. You'd have to be insane to put yourself at risk. Listen, it may be, like for me, I'm not really concerned. I'm not that controversial. They're more controversial, but not even, to a certain extent, not so much. Laura's very controversial because she gets in the face of a lot of, high-profile people and puts herself out there like that. So, but I'll say this. If there is a 0.1% chance that your business could be destroyed, would you take it? I look at it this way. If you could buy a lottery ticket, and if you won, you would lose all your money. Would you buy that ticket? Hell no! Why would I do that if I didn't have to? I understand the chances are astronomical, but you'd be nuts. You buy lotto tickets because even though you're probably not going to win, hey, you got a chance to win $100 million, even though it's really tiny. Let's see how she concludes here. Because she asked a lot of these questions. We get it. As for Chase Bank, I sent all my questions to Chief Communications Officer Patricia Wexler, who challenged the authenticity of one of the employees recorded by Veritas and ignored the substance of the report. Evasion and denial are surefire ways to lose business. Is it Chase Bank or Chase Away Bank? Inquiring customers would like to know. I would. Look, I really don't think I'm at risk for this, but did they? So I'd say this. If Chase doesn't want to come out with the nitty-gritty details and explain to these individuals who were censured and to those who have lost their accounts, why the hell would I want to do business with you? I wouldn't. And I'd recommend anyone stay away from them because you don't know why they took these accounts down. Maybe it was legit. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was an activist lying. And Chase said, we don't care what's true. We don't want the bad press. And so they terminate you. And what does that mean? Maybe you're a moderate. Maybe you're a liberal. Maybe you're someone associated or more in line with what the intellectual dark web represents. Moderate individuals, progressives, some conservatives who want to have a real conversation. And we know how they treat people like Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin. So they'll send in fake BS and your bank is gone. Not worth it. Stick around. I got more videos coming up in a few minutes. I will see you then.